Dota players are feasting after the 7.37 update. Bringing back items like Iron Talent, introducing spells that go through Lincolns, and making Death Prophet more durable than a Twinkie in a nuclear fallout. Gabe Newell, being the kind and gentle soul that he is, decided to drop the patch right in the spanking middle of two separate tournaments. So let's go see how the teams are handling the new patch. The first big series was OG against Team Liquid in the upper bracket. Despite not qualifying for the International, OG have been playing some of their best Dota all year, finishing the group stage in first place. And special shoutouts to Kaori, OG's stand-in support player, who flat out has been carrying a lot of OG's team fights with his signature Phoenix. And this man loves to buy Refresher Orb first or second item, so be on the lookout for that. Going into the series, Liquid wanted no funny business from Kaori, banning Phoenix in all three games. But the real adaptation came from offlaner 33. Offlane Visage is back with his new facet Death Toll, a passive that grants Visage gold whenever he gets a last hit with his ability Soul Assumption. 33 would start the game with big money, catching OG off guard in their own safe lane, getting a double kill. But although he was one of the richest heroes in the early game, it didn't stop BZM's Timbersaw from completely running them over, as BZM's heavy use of the Ironwood tree neutral item would overwhelm Liquid, either by planting the tree aggressively to get into Liquid's face, or plant it defensively to escape out of situations where he normally would not be able to do. Kaori would also play a key role for OG in this game, positioning himself in a way that would tank the smoke ganks from Liquid, ultimately resulting in Liquid overcommitting for a CM kill and getting drastically punished for it. This gave great space for Tomato's Gyrocopter, allowing him to soar in net worth over Liquid's carry Wind Ranger, and the salt in the wound for Liquid was Nisha buybacking for a fight at the Roche Pit and dying instantly, giving OG a win against one of the best teams in the world. Game 2 would really show the strength of Visage offlane, as by the time Liquid were pushing high ground, 33 would have a Vlad's, a Sulk Kyrias, and a Boots of Baron, all while being under 20 minutes. This disgusting amount of pressure would result in OG slowly bleeding out, as they were stuck on their high ground at such an early time in the game, resulting in OG finally calling it quits at the 30-minute mark, with 33 having 15,000 tower damage. 33 would switch things up for us fans in Game 3, picking up Death Prophet with her new facet, Morning Ritual, a passive that delays up to 50% of all incoming damage, soaking in the damage in 1-second intervals over a 5-second period. So basically, she becomes more survivable than an Ursa after doing level 1 Roche. No, but seriously, can we bring this back? And as much as 33 tried to carry his team with the new meta picks, the real star of the show was Nisha's Ember Spirit. Nisha would wreak havoc this game, having over 60,000 hero damage, surpassing the second highest damage hero, BZM's Mirana, by over 30,000, resulting in Liquid taking the series and moving on in the upper bracket. OG's opponent in the lower bracket would be decided by an elimination game between Shopify Rebellion and Execration. Execration can be described as a team with whack-ass drafting, having a support Visage in all three games, along with the rare sight of offlane Earth Spirit in Game 3. But Shopify's carry player Pakaz wasn't ready to go home, having a ridiculously high net worth in the early game, and this was a hard watch for Shopify fans, as even though Pakaz was the strongest hero on the map during the mid game, Shanks would outplay the heck out of Shopify, stealing Ice Path, hitting multiple targets, and winning his team so many mid-game fights that it really killed a lot of Shopify's momentum. And as the game went longer, Execration only grew stronger, with Tino on his offlane Earth Spirit going a really cool build of Guardian Greaves into Crimson Guard, topped off with a Shiva's Guard, and in combination with Shopify not having items like a Yule's or a Heaven's Halberd to kite the Troll Warlord, he eventually outscaled the Alchemist, sending Shopify to the airport earlier than they would have hoped for. It would be a crime to not mention Nigma Galaxy, exceeding everyone's expectations, getting second place in their group, beating highly respected teams like XG and Azure Ray, leaving me on my hands and knees in an Arby's parking lot praying that Kuroki never comes back. The team would go on an insane lower bracket run, eliminating teams like Talon Esports and even taking IG to Game 3, where Nigma would demonstrate a fearless draft in picking up newly reworked heroes Medusa and Lycan. Lycan's new facet, Alpha Wolves, changes the game entirely, as it makes his Q ability the only spell in the game that can be leveled up more than 4 times. Looks weird, right? But what makes this strong is that your wolves can now root starting at level 5, and level 6 wolves have a new ability altogether, Hightail, an active ability that turns your wolves into Popeye, getting increased movement speed, attack speed, evasion, and phased movement. And we would see see FBZ channel his inner Goku, having the most damage in the game and not dying a single time. It goes without saying, this man had a key role in eliminating IG from the tournament. Nigma would continue their run to the lower bracket final after beating Navi in a 2-0 fashion along the way. Their Cinderella run would unfortunately come to an end during their next series against Team Spirit, who got sent to the lower bracket after getting whooped by Jinkyu's support Timbersaw. Honestly, this left me speechless. He even ended the game with more damage than Ame. Jinkyu would fully embrace picking weird heroes at this tournament, as he would later pick up support Tinker in Game 2 of the Grand Finals. Not only was his net worth similar to his mid and his offlane, but he averaged over 1,000 healing a minute, ending the game in 37 minutes. XG would go on to win the tournament with a 3-1 victory over Spirit, cementing their status as the best team in China. By the way, the only series they lost this tournament was against Team Nigma, so Kuroki, I don't want to hear anything about coming back. Just put the fries in the bag, bro. Another weird build for your pubs can be seen in the series between OG and Execration. OG are on the brink of elimination after Tino's Earth Spirit went rampant in Game 1. Tomato decides to play Faceless Void with Time Zone, along with rushing a Glepnir, leaving fans scratching their heads wondering what he's got cooking up. And little do we know that he was cooking up an exquisite gourmet dish, hitting multiple great time zones and trapping the enemy with Glepnir, leaving Execration in shambles. But I gotta call out this time zone right here because, well,
this is not a banger. This is not a banger, and I know bangers. I know, bang.
OG's combination of fantastic ability usage as well as big brain item choices were enough to close out the game and bring us to Game 3. Going into Game 3, Execration would find themselves struggling. As much as I give Tino credit for having a great tournament, he would get spanked this game, dying 3 times in the first 5 minutes of the game, and was level 3 by the time Tomato was level 6. But much like life, their struggles wouldn't last forever, as this game would end up being more back and forth than a game of volleyball, ultimately resulting in OG getting wiped at the Roche Pit with no buybacks, which made Execration commence an all-in push towards OG's base, destroying the Ancient right before Tomato respawned, eliminating OG from the tournament. And Twitch chat was not holding back. Like, come on, Vinny, don't do him like that. Folks, this one-win roster has been together for less than a year, and they're arguably looking like a top 5 team in the world. They would finish the group stage in 2nd place, and would destroy their way through the upper bracket, 2-0ing Team Liquid, making them look like confused elderly people that are playing Dota with PS4 controllers. Liquid wanted revenge after this, punching their ticket into the Grand Finals after defeating the hometown heroes Boom in Game 3 of their elimination series. And shoutouts to Boom Esports, as they should be proud of their run, eliminating teams like Beast Coast, North America's best team Nouns, and taking down Execration when they looked unstoppable. Did you know that when you look up McDonald's employee, you just have to scroll down for 2 seconds and then you find Admiral Bulldog? Like, who did this? The Grand Finals of Elite League Season 2 was beyond hype, going all the way to Game 5. There was so much on the line. For one win, they've never made it this far into a tournament this big before. And for Liquid, well, they just don't want to get 2nd place again. Both teams would have comfort picks in Game 5, with Chira Jr. on his Primal Beast, Respect on his playmaking Rubik, and Sweden Strong on his Marcy. Team Liquid had one objective: survive until the late game, with Nisha on his well-known Ember Spirit, Mickey on his classic Razor, and Boxy on his legendary Morphling. Liquid knew that the longer the game went, the easier the team fighting would be. One win started off strong, picking off Mickey multiple times, and shut down Liquid whenever they would try to counter-initiate fights. Like this clip here, where Respect steals Tree and Soul, stopping 33's Pango in the middle of his roll, and helps his team pick up momentum after the laning stage. Later on, Mickey would get caught lacking trying to farm the medium camp, leading to One Win picking up the first Roshan of the game. And I thought it was GG for Liquid after Nisha died by getting sucked out of his Fire Remnant from Darkseer's vacuum. Like, has this always been a thing? But the real game-changing fight would happen at the Roche Pit a little after 30 minutes, where Liquid would outmaneuver One Win, starting the fight by quickly bursting the supports, followed by Nisha throwing down a Fire Remnant before he died so he could buy back and immediately return to the fight, resulting in One Win getting wiped with Aegis and shifting the momentum in favor of Liquid. This allowed Liquid to stall the game until it went late, where Boxy got too tanky for One Win to burst, which allowed Mickey to lock onto his targets with Static Link, as well as let Nisha dance on the outskirts of the fight and spam his Sleight of Fist over and over. This would grow to be too much of an issue for One Win, as they would be forced to call GG from having no buybacks at 49 minutes, giving Liquid their first trophy with this roster. Liquid's win here proves that friendship outside of the game goes a long way. Like some people would say,
Insania would do so much better if they dropped a Mickey.
Meanwhile, they don't realize that asking for Insania without Mickey is like asking for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich without the bread. This team is built on friendship and growing together no matter what it takes. And I think we can all respect that. I just want to remind you of something that's incredibly important. You are enough. In a world that often makes us feel like we need to be more, do more, or have more, it's easy to forget that just being you is already extraordinary. You don't need to change or prove anything to anyone. Your worth isn't measured by your achievements or by your expectations of others. It's found in your heart. Remember, you are deserving of happiness, love, and all the good things that life has to offer, just as you are. Take a deep breath and embrace the amazing person you are. You are enough. Always have been and always will be. Thank you all so much for watching. I can't believe the amount of support we've gotten on the last video. Y'all have made me feel all giddy inside like a kid on Christmas. Thank you again for showing your peace, love, and positivity. I love y'all. Thanks again for your support, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.